True wireless stereo, or commonly known as TWS, has been advancing quite a lot recently. And RØDE Technics, not to be left out, have released one of the latest TWS in the market right now, which is i3, which is priced at $47. You can get this i3 from them directly in AliExpress here, as you can see. And what you're going to find inside once you receive it is just a very simple package of this i3 with the cradle here, obviously, just like any TWS, and also this additional protective case. And these are the TWS itself, left and right, obviously. And let's just talk about the physical aspect of this i3 first. It is designed in a ways which I would consider as being a hybrid sort of in-ear monitor, because it has this assembly which resembles more like an earbud, but it has an extension of more like an in-ear monitor. So it comes with these silicone tips, wide bore, and wearing it is just super easy. Okay, so it is attached already, very simple. And let's just talk about the comfort factor. This thing is super lightweight, okay? And I must say that after wearing it for quite a while, on daily basis, regularly, okay, I already mentioned that it is easy to wear. The next thing is that it is super comfortable. Okay, the ergonomic of this i3, it was designed in such a way that, you know, you would not feel it after a while once you worn it. And let's just talk about connecting it, okay? If you are using Android, okay, you can go into the Play Store and download this app, which is called RØDE Link. And once you establish connection with this i3 using your phone, just like any other Bluetooth devices, it is highly recommended that you use this RØDE Link app so that you can, first and foremost, let me just show you, do OTA upgrade. Because most of the time, you will need to upgrade the software for this TWS in order to get the best performance out of it, okay? And mine is running on version 1313, which is the latest one as of this video, okay? And let's just have a look at the feature and the setting that you can do with this i3. Okay, you can clearly see there that my i3 is connected, and I can clearly see the percentage of the battery, which I have been using this since this morning. Now it is running at 55% on the left ear and 53% on the right ear. So that is definitely very useful. This is the kind of feature I would expect from advanced TWS with this kind of software. And the most important aspect of why you want to use this sort of TWS, noise control. Okay, as you can see here, you are given 3 options, just like most other high quality TWS: ANC, which is active noise cancellation; normal, no ANC; and transparent. Transparent simply means that you want to be aware of your surrounding. You want to hear noises aside from listening to your music. So, for example, if you are walking outside and then you want to be aware of the traffic, most likely you would want to use transparent. Because this ANC, once enabled, let me just share you this. It is very effective. RØDE Technics claim that it is capable of up to 45 dB of noise suppression. And I tend to agree to that because I have worn this i3 outside, even when walking beside a very busy road with so many traffic. I was able to, you know, enjoy my music, listen to my music, and listen to the audio without any hint of interruption, with just some, you know, minor humming of very loud noises coming from car or even exhaust pipes from motorcycle. But other than that, I can feel that the ANC is actually working perfectly in that instance. So definitely a good job there from RØDE Technics. And then the next most important one. Okay, this i3 comes pretty much with very simple setting when it comes to DSP, or profile of sound, which you can select. Okay, you are given either pop, hi-fi, and rock. And of course, usually I always prefer something which is a bit more transparent, okay, with less amount of coloration. I always opted for hi-fi sound, which means that it does not alter too much of the sound frequency itself. It will present the sound as without any kind of, you know, enhancement to the EQ or equalizer or anything like that. But if you want a bit more of excitement, especially a bit more focus on the mid-range, then you probably would want to use pop. Or if you want focus a bit more on the upper frequency and the lower frequency and not so much on the mid-range, you use rock, okay? This is purely up to your preference, okay? And then number 3, another very important one, why you want to use this i3. This is one of the TWS current releases which support direct LDAC, which is Sony LDAC, the highest resolution Bluetooth codec that you can get at 990 kbps. Okay, so in order to have this LDAC, you would notice that there's also a dual device connection. Okay, so if you select dual device connection, meaning that allowing this i3 to connect to different type of Bluetooth hosts, then most likely LDAC will not be selectable. But if you decide to use LDAC, then this will require only one connection, which is just to my phone here. Okay, and let me just talk about the other option that you have with Bluetooth protocol. I must admit that the selection for this i3 is kind of a bit limited, which is only available for SBC, AAC, and only LDAC. So three major protocol there. I am not worried too much for my own usage because usually all of my phone here, which is Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV and also this Miat 01 Moondrop, they are capable of running LDAC, which is the highest protocol already. So I am not worried too much about it because it is imperative for me to declare this because if your phone support or if you prefer to use Qualcomm aptX, then this i3 will not support aptX. All right.
Hello, hello. Anybody home? Test 1, 2, 3. What you are hearing right now is that a recording of microphone directly from this RØDE Technics i3 here. Okay, so you be the judge whether this is something you would consider as being good or bad. Okay.
RØDE Technics claim that this cradle is capable of running up to 50 hours runtime non-stop. Okay, from the first time you detach it from the charger all the way until it ran out of battery. Okay, so that is pretty much something which is a bold claim, and I would be happy to admit that yes, that claim is pretty much true to the nature of it because I was able to use this cradle in a single charge for the whole 1 week. Okay, and in between this cradle was able to recharge my TWS here unit individually in excess of around 8 times before this cradle ran out of battery. One of the key thing about this i3 is that it is designated as HiFi TWS. What does it mean? It means high fidelity TWS. So in respect to that, I have compared with some of the wired connection in-ear monitors, and probably you would know I am more of a wired earphone rather than TWS, but I have been getting into TWS recently. I can safely say that if you're familiar with this Salnote 02, this i3 is definitely superior than this wired IEM here, which I hold in my hand. Okay, in terms of sound performance, the way it renders the sound itself, the overall presentation of the sound itself, especially if you run this on LDAC, and the both of them are being used to listen to Tidal streaming services, okay, using the same type of song. Okay, so the overall tuning of this i3 is definitely geared towards being hi-fi, kind of a bit more exciting, a bit of combination of being mature sounding as well, and perhaps the most impressive thing about the sound itself is that how wide and how open it sounds like. Despite being an in-ear monitor with this, ear tip and everything, it does not sound close. It sounded more like an earbud or more like a headphone rather than an in-ear monitor. And technically, it is also quite resolving. All right, it was able to resolve macro and micro detail properly, okay, exhibiting the amount of detail which I would expect from most wired connection, okay. And also, when we talk about the dynamic range itself, the way it presents the dynamic range, anywhere from treble, mid-range, all the way to the bass, okay, the treble itself is sparkly, okay, but never offensive. It is natural sounding, does not sound metallic at all. And I think the one that I like so much about the treble is that how airy it is. So when I say airy, we are talking about the micro detail of the treble itself, the uppermost frequency. When like shh, like that, it decays. Dispersal of the decay itself is smooth, sparkly and energetic, but never offensive. I am hearing proper micro detail. And then when it talk about mid-range, it's kind of a bit depending on which sound profile you select. If you select hi-fi, then what you're going to get is a transparent sounding mid-range with no coloration, with no hint of warming. So meaning that male and female vocals sounded as how they should be. And when it comes to lower frequency, I would just simply say that if you love big bass, you probably would want to use the rock sound profile or even pop sound profile. But if you want a bit more of, neutrality to the lower frequency itself, then you select HiFi sound profile. Overall, I would say that when it comes to sound, this i3 is definitely very impressive as far as TWS is concerned, because I will repeat again, it is pretty much capable of, competing with this wired connection in-ear monitor, most of them, whichever that's available in the market right now. So if you want something which is transparent sounding, hi-fi sounding for TWS, this i3 is a clear recommendation from me.